republic for which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alt? Mr. Weissdorf?
Here.
Mr. Calero?
Here.
Mr. Fry?
Here.
Mrs. Love? Here. Mr. Polakowski?
Here.
Mrs. Rose? Here. Mr. Shipley? Mr. Bench?
Here, let the record show that Mr. Shipley called today. He's very much under the weather. Citizens' comments?
I have no comment cards this evening, sir.
Thank you. Minutes?
Next week you'll be asked to approve the minutes of the January 12th and January 19th meetings.
Any questions on those? Hearing none. Reports?
So we'll do all of the reports next week. You may wish to peruse a couple of the attachments that I have on there, but you'll get those in detail next week.
Thank you. Business and finance, bills payable?
You'll be asked to approve the January 2017 Treasurer's Report and Board Summary.
Thank you. Old business, Johnson Controls?
Johnson Controls. Last month we passed a resolution, and we found out after the meeting that that was done improperly because there were some advertising requirements that we were not aware of prior to the meeting. So we advertised appropriately, and we now have a new resolution. So I'm going to let Mr. Patonic explain exactly what the whys and wherefores are of that.
In addition to that, we had to put together more numbers, and there was some additional documents supplied to Dr. Molnar using various letters of the Greek alphabet and mathematical signs, which I'll let you explain. I'm teasing him. Explain to us.
Mr. Sirk?
And as a result of that, the board has previously had the investment grade audit. We now have a 10-day special advertisement for this meeting. The board has considered different options. Johnson Controls has submitted its report pursuant to the statute, and that requires before the award of a guaranteed energy savings contract, a qualified provider shall provide a report as part of its proposal, which shall be available for public inspection, summarizing estimates of all costs of installation, maintenance, repairs, and debt service. We don't have debt service. And estimates of the amounts by which energy or operating costs will be reduced. And the report shall contain a listing of contractors and subcontractors to be used by the qualified provider with respect to the energy conservation measures. And then the statute also requires, and the board is finding, that after reviewing the proposals pursuant to subsection E of the statute, a government unit may enter into a guaranteed energy savings contract with a qualified provider if it provides that the amount it would spend on the energy conservation measures recommended in the proposal would not exceed the amount of energy, water, or wastewater cost savings, operational cost savings, or revenue increases resulting from the energy conservation measures within a period not to exceed 20 years. So you're still doing a 20-year agreement. From the date of final installation, if the recommendations in the proposal were followed and a qualified provider provides a written guarantee that the energy, water, or wastewater cost savings or operational cost savings or revenue increases will meet or exceed the cost of the contract. Provided, however, that when determining the operational cost savings from any contract or project of the type in paragraphs 17, 18, and 19 of the definition of energy conservation measure, the government unit shall not consider savings that result from reductions in size of its workforce. We're not doing that. If the reductions are related to or generated by outsourcing, we're not doing that. We're using contract workers to perform tasks previously performed by employees of the governmental unit. And so there's no savings for that because we're not doing it. So then in the resolution, I'm asking that the preambles are incorporated by reference as findings of the board. And then number 2, you would void the resolution for performance contract that was passed on January 19th, which was not specially advertised for at least 10 days. In number 3, you would approve entering into a performance contract for a guaranteed energy savings contract with Johnson Controls, Inc. for the following buildings and grounds: the primary center, the high school, the elementary school, the middle school, and the stadium. And then the board chooses the options same options that you chose last time. However, I think there's a difference in total cost. Because the total cost now for lighting at the primary center, the interior gym, and external lighting at the high school, the interior gym and sensors and exterior lighting at the elementary school and middle school, the exterior lighting retrofits for the stadium, and then the building envelope improvements at the primary center, the domestic water upgrades at the primary center, the boiler plant installation for a boiler at the primary center, the chiller replacement at the high school, the fire alarm system at the primary center, and the window film come to a total of $1,331,000. However, in looking at energy savings, you don't count the window film and the fire alarm system. So what you're comparing is $1,174,446, and they are less than the sum of the following: the total energy savings of $618,129, utility cost avoidance of $128,099 for other validated benefits for utility cost avoidance, and total operating and maintenance cost savings of $628,575, which are a total of $1,374,000. So actually this way, with or without the inclusion of the fire alarm system, your savings are still covering everything. The cost of the improvements not causally connected to an energy savings conservation measure total $156,591, and they don't exceed 15% of the total energy savings contract. So if you divide $156,591 by $1,331,000, it's 11.8%. So you're not over the 15%, so you're still okay with the statute. The term of the contract for which the performance will be measured for the savings will be 20 years. The district does not intend to borrow to finance the project. So then the motion and resolution is subject to the following: the solicitor approving the final form language of the contract. As of this afternoon, I've got an email that they were still cutting and pasting at the corporate attorney's office and had promised that they would have it to us tomorrow. The final form of the contract, including any statutory requirements that the quantification and guarantee of energy savings shall expressly state, quantify, and validate the budgetary sources for all energy-related cost savings and the operating costs utilized to satisfy the financial obligations and performance during the term of the agreement as approved in writing by the superintendent and business manager. And the superintendent and the business manager and I had met yesterday and had reviewed this again in conjunction with the additional documents that had been sent to Dr. Molnar. So you're now ready to go if somebody wants to make and second this motion.
Need a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mrs. Love, second by Mrs. Rhodes. Questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Beistel?
Yes.
Mr. Calero?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mrs. Love? Yes. Mr. Polakowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Benz?
Yes, motion passes 7-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you.
New business, Belfair Jewish Children's Bureau.
Right, you'll be asked next week to approve the annual agreement with Belfair Jewish Children's Bureau for the provision of special education services and related services for one student with a disability who attends there as a resident. We are not responsible for the residential portion. We are only responsible for the education and related services piece. And that amount would be $86,125.
Any questions? Hearing none, permission to advertise?
We'll be asked to grant administration permission to advertise for athletic and maintenance department supplies for next school year.
Questions? 2017-18 school calendar?
You'll be asked to consider approving the proposed calendar for next year, with August 24th, that's a Thursday, being the first in-service day. First day of instruction for students will be Wednesday, August 30th. Columbus Day as an Act 80 day. Parent-teacher conference is on November 9th. Last day before winter recess would be Thursday, December 21st. Reopening on January 2nd, which is a Tuesday. You can see where the snow days and spring recesses are built in, with Monday, June the 4th being the last day of instruction.
Any questions? Hearing none, I guess we can put that on the agenda for next week. Anything from citizens' comments?
Hi guys, just a minor, Jan Kiefer, Homestead Avenue. I sort of got caught off guard on tonight's voting meeting because I don't read the paper. I think that's still an archaic way to deal with people nowadays. But, and I don't understand all the legal stuff, but it's just, they never liked this deal with Johnson in the sense that it's sort of like they drew it up and then they were the bidders on it. I didn't get every detail, and I'm not proclaiming to understand the whole issue. But it's just a little bit cloudy to me how it all turned out. But on a broader sense, you know, I'm okay with the project as it goes. But on a broader sense, what we've done here is we've not considered the green aspect of locking into the carbon and the gas and the heating of that building. And I think that would have been a great place to step in, be progressive instead of regressive. But as it is now, like we're doing across the country, we've locked in our infrastructure and our boilers and things to the toxic grid, and where lots of schools and educational institutions are divesting. You've invited them in and committed yourself to another generation of harm to the children. When we had Johnson's here, it would have been a great opportunity to bring up the subject of electromagnetic pollution that the children face. You know, when they put up cell phone towers, they're you know, the DP doesn't protect us too much, but they make you put them a certain distance from office buildings, from housing, and from schools, of course. The electromagnetic pollution that we are here in that I'm standing in right now is quantitative, or let me use the right term, is a quantum step higher than what that cell phone tower is. But because we want to have that convenience, we're living with that, and because it creeped in on us, we're faced with that today. You know, there's plenty of studies out there to support what I'm saying, and it's just one of those delayed effects that, again, you've locked us into a generation of poor health down the road for the children and those exposed to it. Yeah, so that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kiefer. That's all I have for public consumption this evening, sir.
Any board members have anything? I had a couple board members tonight, and one a couple weeks ago asked me about the band uniforms, and do we want to discuss that or get it on the agenda, or what's the thoughts on that?
I can't recall, how much did you guesstimate that it might be for the band
Jim,
uniforms?
do you recall that number? I think it was in the neighborhood of 50,000, wasn't it?
That's exactly right,
Yeah.
51.
Oh, okay. I couldn't quite remember, I didn't.
Got
write it down.
an estimate from the band director listing how many,
Okay.
of which type uniform and the cost.
Do we have any idea about how many of the uniforms might be in disrepair? Is it just, probably generally?
Yeah, most of the athletic uniforms are on a rotating cycle. They're replaced every 5 to 6 years. These are 13 years old. They're,
Oh.
yeah.
Maybe that's something we should consider because, you know, if it's falling apart, you can't repair it. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yes, Michael. In answer to your question, we need to bring it up at the next board meeting.
But do we want to put on the agenda?
Yes, please do.
Do we have enough support to put on the agenda? Because yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, so can we put that?
Sure can.
Maybe Mr. Harris could come for any questions, possibly.
Yeah, I'll see if you see Sean can come next.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anything else? Need a motion to adjourn?
I wasn't clear, Doctor, if we could vote tonight on authorizing the school board to authorize me to consent to the withdrawal of the ABB tax appeal.
Yes, we can. I didn't know if that was an executive session item because it dealt with litigation, so that's where I put it.
Well, I mean, if people would want to, I guess, go into the weeds about it, but actually, they withdrew their appeal.
Okay,
They,
yeah, that's,
That
we
was right.
advertised this as a voting meeting for the Giza and for general purposes, right? As such matters might come before the board, I believe.
So we may want to vote on it. Should we go to recess instead of adjourn to executive session?
Well, do you need an executive session for the ABB?
I don't think I do, because there's not much I can tell you.
I don't
other
think so.
than
It
they
doesn't,
withdrew.
it doesn't exist anymore, right, David? For all intents and purposes, it's gone.
As long as we agree that it's gone.
Okay?
So, I'm asking that the Southmoreland Board of School Directors authorize and direct the solicitor to prepare and file appropriate documents to enter his appearance on the case, consent to the withdrawal of the appeal, and such further action is needed to accomplish the same. And this is for the property at tax map number 4704-000-158, and the tax assessment appeal at number 5656 of 2016, in re tax assessment appeal of ABB Inc. Would
I
someone
make
make
the
a motion?
motion.
So Mr. Clara made a motion. Second?
Second.
Is there any, we forgot to ask for comment from the public, I guess.
We gotta get.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Second first.
You're right.
So motion by Mr. Clara, second by Mrs. Rhodes. Questions by the board? Questions by the public? Roll call? Or do we just do a voice vote?
Roll call.
Do a roll call.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Calero?
Yes.
Mr. Fry?
Yes.
Mrs. Love? Yes. Mr. Polakowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Beistel?
Yes.
Mr. Benz?
Yes, motion passes 7-0 with 2 absent. Now we need a motion to adjourn to executive session for personnel. Motion by Mr. Beistel, second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Rhodes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 7-0.